Hello, welcome back, and welcome to Module 2 of our course Design for Sustainability. My name is Giovanni Ciarlo. In the previous module, we saw how to build communities. We looked into different aspects of collaboration, conscious choice for building community, connectivity among the members of a community, and observations that help us understand what's going on in a community. We looked at the importance of healing separation, both between individuals in our community and also between individuals and nature. We took a look at what the synergistic contributions are of each individual to the field, to the group. What is the collected identity and behavior of people within that organization? We looked at systems as a living organism and asked the question, well, how does a system behave if it is a living organism? What does it need? We saw what a group field is. A group field as a force field, what each of us brings into that force field by our personalities, our experiences, our beliefs, our point of views, etc. So how does a group receive and affect members' contributions? Put together from our intentions, our behavior, the culture of our groups, and the system within which the group is formed. How do we create common vision and common values? How do we find motivation and trust within a community? In this Module 1, we also touch on the issue of social justice, the importance of interrupting oppression in our society, to defend target groups even when they cannot defend themselves or cannot speak for themselves. Finally, what is the role of the facilitator in a community? Those were all parts of Module 1. Now let's look at Module 2 of our course. Module 2 is focused on compassionate communication, what is also known as nonviolent communication. This is a big piece of our studies. In fact, Module 2 has two parts. One is compassionate communication, but the other one is facilitation and decision making. Nonviolent communication is communication from the heart, communication that really searches the truth between individuals and between an individual and an organization. But to just observe, pay attention to things like, what are we hearing? What are we observing? What do we feel? Where in our body do we feel the energy that comes from our communication? Ask for information and try to reformulate what you hear to see if you're getting it right, if the other person thinks that you understood it, or if there are important things that were missed. Within compassionate communication, we also need to learn how to suspend judgment. Leave space in our thinking for other people's ideas and opinions, for their exploration, their boundaries. What are they thinking? Why do they think that way? We will learn how to give and receive feedback. Feedback is an important part of community life. Constructive feedback, for example, provides information and support to the other person. Personal growth is a central feature of the social component, the social dimension of design for sustainability. So the script for compassionate communication, nonviolent communication, the script basically is to make an observation as if you were a video camera without judgment, to identify what feelings arise from that observation, from that action, then pair that with the needs that are either met or not met by that action, and to make clear requests, and finally receive feedback. That is the process of nonviolent communication that we'll be looking at. Positive feedback also needs guidelines. So you give an observation, you express the feelings that it evokes in you, the needs that were met, positive feedback. Negative feedback also needs to be timely. You don't want to give negative feedback at any time. There's a little bit of a sensibility to develop around when is the appropriate time to give negative feedback. And most of all, be specific. Try not to generalize. The second part of Module 2 has to do with governance, decisions, and conflict. This is a very rich and very valuable skills set to receive, to learn about, and to practice. Every group needs a government and governance, and it needs facilitation for decision making and for conflict resolution. So a process must support our intention. That's very important to remember, that what we intend to achieve has to go through a process. So what is the best process to get there? So participatory democracy versus representative democracy. What do those terms mean? In participatory democracies, people have an opportunity to contribute to decisions, policies, and the direction of the organization. In representative democracy, on the other hand, those decisions are made by majority rule. Now, government is the body that governs. What is it? What is the government? Is it the board? Is there a leader? Is there a cabinet? Are there committees? What is the government of our organization, our community in this case? Governance, on the other hand, is the manner of government. How do we run our businesses? Who plays which roles in those decision making and in the policy setting and so forth. So to understand the difference between government and governance is important, and this module will deal with that. Deep democracy implies all people, all parts of the system, and all the feelings that are evoked on any particular issue. Participatory government is about social inclusion. It's about equality. It's social capital. Social capital translates into trust, empowerment, and it's a virtuous cycle. Virtuous cycle means that it empowers and it helps empower. What is the power gap within our group? Who has more power than others? Who exercise their power in different ways than others? We belong to groups because there is something that we get from our groups. We get influence, structure, fulfillment. We have process. We have coordination to achieve certain actions, certain decisions, to achieve our goals. We have an adaptive system with limited boundaries that we all need to recognize within our groups. So what are all those? Let's take a look in our reading and see if we can identify those elements. Facilitation is a leadership role, but it's not the only leadership role within a group. There are different skills that we need to learn as facilitators, and we should study those. Some of them I presented in this module, but I strongly recommend a little bit more research either on the internet or more in-depth courses on facilitation. There are competencies that we need to have as good facilitators, and you will look at some of those that are listed specifically in this module. It's personal work. It's about personal development. It's about growth and awareness of our place within our group. So facilitators have a big job, and it is a profession that is growing in society today. Many groups require facilitators to carry on their business. Facilitation is about being creative. It's about finding solutions. It's not about problem solving so much as hearing all the possibilities within the room and trying to guide the group towards what satisfies the most needs in the group. There are options for providing structure and process, even for the content of the group process, the group meeting, whichever is taking place. Facilitators need to have a toolbox of activities, of processes, and techniques that they will use with their group. We want decisions to be strong, stable, and that they come from a loving place. Instead of being conflictive and full of power disbalance, we want to belong to the decisions that we make together. We'll be learning is how to craft a decision to the process of consensus. Consensus is the most democratic and participatory process that we have learned in community, and we'll be studying consensus and take a look at that. Again, there's a lot to learn in this module. And finally, we'll look quickly at conflict management. Conflict is inevitable. It will always come up in a group. And conflict is an opportunity as well. It's an opportunity to learn and to grow as an individual and as a group. We want to find win-win solutions as much as possible. What are the common interests that the individuals in conflict have, or that an individual with an organization may have? What are the ranks, different social ranks, psychological ranks, emotional ranks, and so on, and the powers, the different level of power that individuals have within an organization. We will look at all that, and as you can see, this is a big module, a lot of material, very deep, and I hope that you enjoy this module